Love is when you care about someone else and you want them to be happy, and that's like more important to you than your own happiness.
What is love? I think love is one of those things that's very hard to describe. I think when you're in love, you know it, but it's one of those things that until you're in love, I don't think you know what it is.
I think it's different for everybody, so I don't know that there's a real definition for it.
Finding somebody who supports you and finding someone where you can act as a team, but you naturally fall into that team situation and you build each other up and you're there and you make fun of each other and you drive each other crazy.
Love, I would have to say, is kind of like a sea of emotions. I mean, there's good love, bad love, and then you have good and bad love. So I mean, I'd say it's just kind of like a big wave that goes through the ocean.
I think love is when you really deeply and genuinely care for someone else and their well-being, and it's reciprocated by the other person.
I think a healthy relationship is when you can hang out with someone and want to be with them. No one's forcing anyone to do anything they don't want to, and you're not getting intense too fast.
A healthy relationship based on, friendship, companionship, trust. I think you can't have a relationship without trust. And really just being around someone who you want to be around all the time.
When two people care about each other, they respect each other, they communicate when they have a disagreement, they talk it out, and they enjoy spending time together.
One that is fun and it makes you feel good about yourself and you don't mind enjoying with other people.
I think a healthy relationship is respect. Respect for two people, respect for the differences that happen with those people, having somebody who is, no one's the same and no one's going to have the same likes and no one's going to have the same dislikes, and being interested in what that person has even though you might not share the same opinion is a good healthy relationship in all sorts of ways.
I think an unhealthy relationship is where that balance becomes a little one-sided and someone's taking advantage of somebody else and the other party is not getting what they expect out of the relationship.
Shutting the other person out when you're angry, being unkind, putting someone down.
If either of the people in the relationship are causing harm to one another or making each other unhappy or not really paying attention to one another.
I think lots of couples fight and they think just because they fight they have an unhealthy relationship. I think fighting lots of times is healthy as long as you do it in a healthy way. But when you take away aspects like trust and like the fact that you don't want to be around a person or abuse, whether it be physical or mental or emotional, I think lots of times leads to extremely unhealthy relationships.
I think for the most part, teenagers struggle with relationships because a lot of them are struggling to find themselves. They don't really know who they're trying to find their own identity, and that can be hard when you're looking for a relationship in what you want in somebody else and you're not too sure of who you are to begin with, so that's probably why.
They have a lot going on, I guess, and they're trying to figure out what they want to, like, what they're interested in and stuff, and maybe it could just get overwhelming at some points and they might just have a breaking point.
I think lots of times teenagers and young people think that being in a relationship is going to be like it is on TV and that it's going to be perfect, and then you get in a relationship and realize this isn't easy. It involves a lot of work, and so people get really, really frustrated with it because it's not going the way they thought it was going to go, and so they're unhappy.
To be accepted, to make sure that they fit in and are And I think that that's why, to make sure they fit in.
If you're in an unhealthy relationship, you should break up. There's someone better out there for you.
If you're in an unhealthy relationship, decide if it's worth it. You know, if it's someone that you genuinely care a lot about and that you genuinely love, you got to find ways to make it work. You know, within reason. But if, you know, that's the question you have to ask yourself first. Is it worth it? Is this person worth it? And if not, then that's your answer right there.
First of all, we need to make time for each other and work it out and just talk about it, because it's not gonna work unless you talk.
And it never happens, but it would be to keep it light and keep it fun, because you're still young.
Don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't worry about what everyone else thinks. Just be yourself and do what makes you happy. And in the long run, I think that'll do well for you.
Be selfish, and take some time and evaluate that relationship from how it affects you. And not think about the other person, not think about how they're going to feel. People are going to get heartbroken all over the place. It's going to be in pieces on the floor, and at this point in your life, it's so important for you to build up the courage and the strength to say what you want and advocate for what you need in a relationship, that going in and practicing that and being able to say, like, you know what, actually, I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to have to break up with you, is way better than just trying to struggle it out and hurting yourself and hurting them more in the long run.
Be patient. There's, you know, you don't need to, the first person you date isn't the person that you're going to marry. You're going to get your heart broken. It's going to happen. That's part of growing up. You learn lessons from each relationship, and you carry those lessons into your future relationships, and you will find happiness.